What's up, YouTube? Thank you for tuning into the Donnie B channel. Appreciate all my subscribers and new subscribers coming along here. So today we're going to do my first vlog driving in the 2013 Mustang GT. And we're going to talk about kind of like a little review of what I've done to the car so far and what's coming down the pipeline for you guys. And also I want to touch on a subject that doesn't get talked about too much, that I can see at least on YouTube. And then I'm going to talk about the pros and cons between them and stuff like that. So we're just kind of cruising along out here in the country a little bit. The weather's finally broken in Illinois. We've had rain non-stop for days on end. Now the roads are a little dried up and the sun's out a little bit, so we're going to have a little fun here. And let's start off with kind of like a year in review of what happened with the 2013 Mustang. I bought this car last year, the tail end of March. Here we are, it's April 2017, so I've had the car for a little over a year now. And I've done a few different things to it pretty quickly, and actually some of the modifications came quicker than I originally expected. So let's start off with some of my early complaints with the car. I thought originally the car bone stock from the factory was pretty cool. It's pretty powerful for a street car. Now, of course, it's not the fastest thing in the world. There's always something out there that's faster from any of the other major automakers. But there's certain things that I didn't like about the car. Number one was the sound of the car when it was running. It was just way too quiet. You couldn't tell that the thing was running. Initially, it had a little bit of a nice growly sound on startup on a cold start, but beyond that, the car didn't really have much of a sound, especially if you're getting into the throttle a little bit. Didn't really make much sound, so we fixed that with a set of Roush axle back mufflers for the 2013. So that fixed the sound, because I can drive it normally and the interior noise isn't bad. The outside isn't bad if you're just doing some regular driving, but if you got into the throttle, it sounded great, had a great muscular tone. So the Roush axle backs fixed my sound issue with the car not sounding muscular. So after that, we moved on to the shifting. If you get really situated with the car, if you really practice with the shifter, it's fine, but you kind of had to baby the shifter going into third, especially on any hard accelerations or hard pulls of the car. So I fixed that with the Ford Racing shifter package. It came with everything. It came with of course the shifter, it came with the lower transmission mount bracket, a new shift knob, and retaining ring. And it's a very notchy shifter, but your shifts are very direct, very crisp. You know you're planted into gear once you're in gear. It's really nice. After that, I wanted to fix the suspension setup a little bit. I didn't like the way that the car sat. It still reminisced of the 79 to 04 Mustangs, especially like the 94 and up Mustangs, where they just were ridiculously tall on their stance. So I fixed that with the set of AmericanMuscle's SR Performance springs, and then I complemented those with some Coney STRT shocks and struts. Everything's been great on that so far. So I fixed the ride height. It looked really good. I'm very happy with the way it sits now. The ride quality still hasn't suffered too much, so that's another plus, especially since this is a street-driven car. And then I wanted to get rid of my wheel hop, so I picked up a set of BMR lower control arms for the rear. My wheel hop is essentially completely gone now, which is really nice. When you're really getting on it, there's no wheel hop, no hopping on the spin of the tires. If you watch any of my previous videos, you can probably hear the tire kind of hop around a little bit when it was squealing. So the BMR lower control arms completely got rid of the wheel hop, so it's awesome. And then just to complement, going with a new set of wheels and tires from AmericanMuscle. They're AMR dark stainless 19-inch wheels. I'm very happy with the way those turned out. But to locate the rear end, I got a BMR adjustable panhard bar. Since the rear end didn't drop as much as the front did, I didn't actually have to do any relocation. They're still kind of they're still symmetrical. They may be off by like 1/8 of an inch, but not enough to where you can drastically see a difference between the tire and the fender clearance of the rear end. So didn't necessarily have to do that, but it was a complimentary piece. can't go wrong with it. It wasn't that expensive, so got that. The wheels and tires, again, are the AMR dark stainless wheels. I went with 19-inch because 20s, even though they may look good, I still am a person that believes that if you have more tire, the better. So I just think 19s are the perfect complement for this car. 18s were a little too small. 20s I thought were just maybe too big, and I wanted to have a little more tire, so I went with the 19s. The tires are Mickey Thompson Street Comp tires. They actually are kind of sticky for what they are. Whenever I get on it a little bit and I'm driving, I can hear the rocks getting picked up and thrown into the rear bumper, which, you know, what can you do though? But I mean, it gives me pretty superior grip, especially so far. I haven't really, of course, the weather's been bad, so I haven't really broke them in all the way yet. I've only put maybe, you know, 50 miles on the car, and that was just driving between my friend Wes's place and my own house. I haven't really been able to give it any kind of real, you know, test on its hook on the street. Pulling up to a stop sign here. And then, kind of lastly, the last modification we did was the Roush chin spoiler, and that was more just an aesthetic thing. With the car being lowered, I really wanted to complement the lowered look with an aggressive chin spoiler. Nice thing about the Roush chin spoiler, it's not that expensive, and for being as subtle a change as it is for the front lip, you know, it's pretty nice. So yeah, the Roush chin spoiler, a nice addition to the aesthetics and the overall look of the car. So I'm pretty much done with the aesthetics and the way that the car looks. I didn't have really any big plans to change anything. I wasn't going to swap out for like a big cow hood or anything. I wasn't planning on changing the rear balance because even though I like the dual tip look of the GT500, I didn't think it needed it. So I'm not going to spend the money on it. And the only thing left I'm really going to change to the look of the car is I think I'm going to paint the hood vents on the hood gloss black to match the deck lid panel. And I think that's about it. I just think that this car has a little too much red on the front of the car, so I think painting the hood vents, since they can come off the hood, it'll make it look really good. I think it'll just kind of break up the red just enough to make it look good. And of course, if I really don't like it, I can always paint them back to the factory color. But moving on to the real topic of the video, I know I kind of rambled on about the parts. There's one more major upgrade that I'm going to do to this car here coming up very soon, so stay tuned for that. Actually, that's going to be happening this weekend. So I'm very excited, and we're going to have a lot of fun installing that piece. It's actually going to be a real simple installation, but it's going to change a lot on the car. So with all those parts I just named off, what I did was I purchased them all online, of course, all new, and I pretty much purchased everything between two websites, AmericanMuscle.com and Latemodel or LMR as they're known. Now the topic of this video is with the range of aftermarket parts for Mustangs. Of course, it's very vast, and there's a lot of websites just dedicated to these cars. You know, of course, there's CJ Pony Parts, there's Blue Wolf Industries, eBay has some online stores that are dedicated to specific parts of these cars. You know, is one site better than the other to order parts from? Like, is there some kind of war on between purchasing parts from a Latemodel Restoration or American Muscle? Now, I'm just going to stick with those two companies because that's where I've ordered all my parts for both my cars. And the simple answer is no, there is not, because both websites do exactly the same thing just fine. Maybe one website's geared more towards a certain era of Mustang versus the other. And some of them have their pros, some of them have their cons, but essentially as a business and what they do and what they provide for the aftermarket community of Mustangs, they both do it extremely well. They both have their own line of products. Latemodel Restoration has their SVE line, and then American Muscle has their SR Performance line. So that's very cool stuff. They have their own price incentive items for sale. Again, I have the SR Performance lowering springs on this car, and they're great. LMR has their own version. It's their SVE springs. I just went with SR Performance because they essentially had the look I was going for. They had the rake look, which is it looks lower in the front than it does in the rear. Kind of a classic muscle car kind of look. And that's what I wanted to go with, so that's why I went with them. For my Fox body, I pretty much purchased everything through Latemodel Restoration. all the parts, because I think LMR has a better hook on the niche for Fox bodies. If you look at their YouTube channel, they have a lot of videos dedicated to doing your kind of standard upgraded performance stuff on all the different Fox body era items, like the 5-lug conversion, doing cover disc brakes all around. They have a video that's geared towards making that installation done on your Mustang. So American Muscle, what they kind of, I think they kind of know that, I think they kind of have it this way. This is just kind of like my thinking. I think that American Muscle has a better hook on the S197, S550 platform cars. Now, granted, LMR still sells a lot of the same parts that American Muscle does. I think their website and I think the products they offer are more geared towards that era of Mustang. Whereas LMR has a better hook on the Fox body platform. I think American Muscle has a better hook on the S197, S550. And so when I go and I shop around for parts, of course, I'm looking for the best price possible. I do spend a lot of money with both those companies, so there's not one that's better than the other, but it's more geared towards what am I looking for, what am I purchasing. The cool thing between LMR is that they offer a lot of different promotion codes for their website and their products, and it's really nice because it does help you save some money. And if you're a frequent purchase of parts from their website, you know, it adds up over time. American Muscle, they do have promotion codes, but I've noticed that with their website, they aren't as like prominent, I would say, as LMR. LMR seems to send me more promotion codes in my email than American Muscle does. That's just the plain truth, unless I'm happening to not see the promotion codes. Granted, now around Christmas, Thanksgiving, Black Friday time, a lot of times you're, get on the highway here, a lot of times you're seeing the same kind of promotion codes between these two websites. So there's not really a better or worse one. So there's not one that's better, there's not one that's worse. But you kind of have to pick and choose when you purchase some products. American Muscle, again, they do have promotion codes available. Sometimes their products go on sale. But LMR, to me, it just seems like they send me more promotion codes at random times throughout the year than American Muscle does. That's no knock on American Muscle. They're still awesome. But that's just what I've seen being a customer for many years. Now, I'm kind of leaving out some of the other websites that I work with, that I have worked with before. CJ Pony Parts sells a bunch of different products, and of course, their market also dives into the older, original era Mustangs, like your 64 on up, into the late 60s, early 70s cars. They dive into that quite a bit, and that's something that both American Muscle and LMR don't touch. So I think if I were to own an older style Mustang, I probably would buy a lot of products from them, and I probably would review their products. But since I don't, I haven't really ordered any products from them. I've ordered a few things because sometimes they sell stuff that either website doesn't have. And that's another thing that's pretty cool about the both websites. They're constantly evolving the stuff that they sell. And like if a product isn't available today, you know, it could be available tomorrow. And you know, that's a nice thing about their SVE and SR line of performance parts. You know, if something hasn't been made by Ford in a long time, and they're willing to, you know, go out there and maybe something kind of like, you know, very subtle, like LMR, for instance, just released a wiper motor cover for your Fox body Mustang. That's just like a an eye-catching piece that you can put on your wiper motor cover. It doesn't do anything performance-wise. It'll work fine without one, but you know, they put in the time, they put in the effort to sell something like that because Ford hasn't made it in so long. So that's pretty cool. You know, LMR, they sell, or I'm sorry, American Muscle, they sell a lot more wheels and tires available for your S197, S550 than I've seen by pretty much any manufacturer. It's pretty insane, and that's really cool that they do that for you. They put together wheel and tire packages for all kinds of different setups, so it's really nice that they do that. So guys, I know this video kind of rambled on a little bit long, but you know, it's kind of interesting to think about it. There are a lot of websites just dedicated to the performance and aftermarket parts for your Mustang. your late model Mustang especially. And you know, they are competing for your business, but their standards and their quality and all the stuff that they offer, you know, it's on par with each other. And you know, you can't really go wrong with either setup, either website. You know, and of course they want your business, and you know, they want to continue to you know, improve the products that they have, and it's really cool. So I have major props to shout out to, you know, LMR and AmericanMuscle for all the stuff I purchased from them. They don't sponsor me in any way. I don't get products free from them, but I like to, you know, give credit where credit is due sometimes, especially for like something as simple as buying aftermarket parts, because you know, that's what makes the car more pleasing to me as a driver, and when I look at it, the aesthetics of the car are more pleasing to me, and that's because of the products that AmericanMuscle and Latemodel Restoration sells. Man, this car is awesome. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys like the vlog, let me know about it, and I'll keep pumping them out for you guys. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a great day.